Hello, everyone. Dr. Allen here. Hope you're having a great week. Coming to you this week from my office. It's nice. I actually had some time on Friday to get this done. So I'm looking forward to it. So let's go ahead and jump right in. Just a few things before I kind of really get going. The work so far has been really, really good. I should have, like I think I mentioned last week, I'm recording this on what would that be, our fourth week. So I'm probably grading week three, which would be the Google Classrooms, if you're watching this. The Google Classrooms, I know the discussions are done, the blogs are done. I'm actually still logging into some of the Google Classrooms, but I hope to have those all done. I try to get them done before the next week opens, so I'll do that. And then next week I'll get into the Nearpods. Looking forward to checking all those out. But everything has looked great so far. Now, with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into this week. And I'm going to go ahead and get in the Brightspace. Sorry, I had not logged in yet. I do have a small change. I wanted to check one thing really quick while we're going in here, just to make sure I'm on the same page, because I want to make sure I did not overlook something. Sorry, I'm slightly talking to myself, but it was a cool tech, and I wanted to make sure that I had it listed here for you all to check out. Yeah, okay. That's what I needed to see. I caught this actually right before I started to record. This week I have Edpuzzle listed. One thing about Edpuzzle, it's a very, very cool technology. The only thing I will say about it is this. Um, Online, I'm going to show it to you. I'm going to put videos up of it. I think a lot of you've probably checked it out. And also, it can be a little clunky. So I'm going to give you a choice. I will have videos up of Edpuzzle if you want to do it. I want to really show you, though, I was worried about time. There's another technology now that you can use videos for. It's called Google OneNote or Notebook. I think it's Notebook. Sorry, Google Notebook LM. It is actually really, really, really cool. And I'm going to actually kind of modify the assignment this week, kind of call an audible. And I would really like everyone to kind of mess around with this because I think as teachers, it may be more, I hate to use the word beneficial, but I think a lot of people are probably familiar with Edpuzzle at this point, and I will again pull it up or kind of give you an overview of Edpuzzle. But the assignment I'd really like to see everyone try to do is the actual Google OneNote, and I'll post that up here and show you right now. So let's just go there. There. I keep saying OneNote, but I believe it's Notebook LM. I keep doing that. I said I'd keep recording if I messed up. So we're just going to hold myself to it. But you just need a Google account. And this is actually a really cool tech. I'm actually using it in some of my classes now. I'm still trying to learn it, but I keep using it more and more. And I just think it's pretty cool. So what we're going to do, let me just show you how it works. I'll have YouTube videos up that might be a little more polished than mine as usual, but if you want to try Notebook LM, let's check it out. So log in, you go to Notebook LM, you have your Google, just click here. And if you look here, you can tell these are all the ones that I've made. I use a lot. I've been messing around with it in some classes and it's really been helping me out, organize my thoughts. Um, I'm just, and actually you can make videos with it. You can actually do things like make podcasts with it and such. So for example, once you log in, you can just hit create notebook and you're going to come to this. Now, what you're going to have to do for me is you're going to have a PDF of some sort. It can be a worksheet, it can be a document, it can be an information sheet related to your content, whatever you want. I would say, it could be, I just listened to, believe it or not, a podcast on Grover Cleveland. It could be some sort of document on Grover Cleveland. But I just want you to load it up. I'm going to take one that was actually an American Historical Association review of history programs. And you can see it's loading it up right here in the OneNote. Why do I keep saying OneNote? Notebook, 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 notebook. Um, Notebook. So as you can see, it is there. Now, it's right here. There are different things you can kind of do with it. Now, the document itself is there, and then you can see it's breaking it down. But if you look over here, there's a bunch of cool little things that you can do with it. You can make flashcards, you can make mind maps. Like, for example, let me just click one. It's generating one now. And it usually does it pretty quick. I'll say that and it'll take a minute or two. But as it's just different worksheets. You can do reports, you can do things like that. The audio overview is basically a podcast that it makes, and I'm going to show you that. And it can also make videos. And what you're going to have to do this week is whatever your PDF is, I would like you to submit either the podcast or the video. And I'll show you how they both work here in a sec. But if you click here, it's taken that. Well, let me show you the actual document. That might actually help a lot. See if I can slowly open it. This is what the document is. Teaching U.S. History in Schools, and it's a report from the American Historical Association for 20. And you can see it's a pretty sizable document. There's a lot of information there. But with this, as you can see, it breaks it down into different parts. And you can load different PDFs in your notebook. But as you can see, it goes there, and it's actually going to break it all down here. This is all nice stuff, but I really want to show you what I think is pretty cool about it. You can download everything. If you need to download it, it's right here. And as you can see, it starts to break it down in just a little more simplistic, setup. But if you hit Studio, you can go back. You've seen the document. Right here's the document again, and it breaks it all down in the PDF. I want you this week to hit this. Once you load your PDF in, it's going to generate an audio podcast. So I'm going to probably chit chat here for a moment, but some of the other things it can do, it can generate reports, which are kind of like quick one pagers that kind of show you what's on there. You can create quizzes from the documents. Anything like this. What I'm going to do and ask you to do is maybe submit 2 things from it for the assignment. I just think it's something that might be more beneficial to you as educators than not that Edpuzzle, like I say, isn't cool and doesn't have its pros and with it. I just find that sometimes it's a little clunky for people to work with, especially on an online setting. I've seen it. It's almost the websites. I know some people were like, it was cool, but it was a little clunky to get to where I needed to go. But once I figured it out, it was good. Edpuzzle is kind of like this. This to me is something you can definitely use. Like, for example, we have this right here. We can shorten that back up. But you see, and you can load other PDFs up here. And all you have to do, if you put other PDFs in here, let me shrink my screen. I'll show you. Do I have something that's pretty cool that I can just put in there? Probably not. Let's see. Of course, I should have something. Now, let's put this. We'll put a PDF there. So if I want to do another one, I can just hit add. And there. Oops, of course, it's not in the right thing. So let's just do another one. Let me get out of there. I'm trying to be too cute here. Let's just do history bowl questions. Let's go close. You can just add another one like that. PDFs are always the easiest for Word documents. But as you can see, whatever document in my notebook that I wanted to use, I can click. So if I want to make a map a podcast that's all of this, everything, it will condense it into a podcast to do that. If I want just one, you just click the one and click here. If you want all, you can click here and it'll do an overview for all of them. So, and again, it's just, you'll see, I think the podcast is kind of neat. It's just taking a few minutes. And if you click this, it will to make a video. I'm not going to click that on this overview, mainly because the videos do take a little bit. The podcasts are usually pretty quick. And if you click here, you can also, like I say, we have this, so we can look at that and a little more. But I think it's actually kind of neat. And of course, you can zoom in a little bit and look at the different parts. And there it's talking about the document itself, and it's just breaking it down into more. So let's see. And let's just give it a sec. And as you can see, I can hit this and I'll have all the history bowl questions if you're a history bowl teacher. That would be 8th grade, social studies. And you click that and it's back. Again, you can just do that and we could just make a 1-pager right there. So while that is loading, let me pull up some other things that you're going to have to do this week. I will show you the Edpuzzle. Let's just actually go there while I'm sitting here thinking about it. And that was this week. Whoops, Edpuzzle. I'm going to keep the links up to Edpuzzle. I do want to just kind of give a little shout out to Edpuzzle. There's a crash course on Edpuzzle right here, basically kind of telling you how to use it. But if you're not familiar with Edpuzzle, again, they're up here, but let me just go to the site real quick. Edpuzzle is kind of cool. And if you really would prefer to do Edpuzzle instead of the Google OneNote, that's fine. OneNote notebook. Got it definitely embedded in my brain. As you can see, you can just go teacher. I should be able to continue right there. Okay. And I should be in. Okay. I don't know if you're familiar with Edpuzzle, but Edpuzzle is actually really cool. And they have some different things where you have your own content, where you can add questions. And as students are watching the videos, you can add questions. And actually, you can set the video up where the students would have to watch the video in order to answer the question, i.e. they can't skip ahead. So they have to watch like the first minute of the video, and then a question will pop up, and then they have to answer it. Then they have to watch the next minute of the video and another video. They can't just jump to the questions. It's a really cool tool, and I want to make sure that you know about it. And if you want to fiddle around with it and give it a shot, I have the YouTube videos up. My experience with teaching online and Edpuzzle, there's some aspects with editing and getting the questions loaded that sometimes seem to throw people off, or it's a little bit lost in translation. So I'm not going to actually I'm going to give you the choice of Edpuzzle or the Google Notebook. I would still strongly suggest doing the notebook because I think it's just a more modern approach. And I think it's something that might do you, it might be helpful. If you're teaching and you want to load up teaching documents and make resources, this is really nice. Actually, I don't know why I wasn't this smart. I'll show you some of the things that I've done with it here in a minute. But as you can see, I loaded up that American history report. Here it is. Here's the podcast. I'll go ahead and hit it.
Welcome to the deep dive. So today we're tackling a subject that, well, it's everywhere in the news, right? U.S. history education in secondary schools.
Yeah, it really is. And we've got this comprehensive new report from the American Historical Association, the AHA, to help us sort of cut through the noise.
Exactly. We're digging into the data.
Yeah.
Because the public conversation, it feels almost entirely driven by, well, political theater. These so-called.
So that'll go on. As you can see, that's a 16-minute listen. It's like a podcast. The videos are usually a little shorter. They're usually around 6 to 7 minutes. I haven't seen one over 10. It tries to make them more concise. So I could take either one of these documents and literally click this video overview. I'll show you an example of one here in a moment because I have some other ones made. I don't know why I didn't think to show you that before, but I will. But what I would like you to do, and I'll have this typed up for you for the directions for this week, I would like you to do 2 resources. I would like one to be either the video or the podcast, and I would like you to submit that. And all you have to do to share, you can either share the link right there, or make sure that you have access there. That's the thing. Anyone with a link, that's the key. You got to make sure that I have access to it if you're going to do the link, or you can just simply download it. And it does take it on Brightspace because I've tried it a couple of times. Either one works, but I would like 2 things from Google Notebook submitted this week that you actually put on there. So you're going to load up a PDF, you're going to make either a podcast or a video, and then you're going to do one of the reports. And as you can see, there's different ones you can do. I use the briefing guide a lot. So like it's making a briefing guide here. And as you can see, it's basing it on both sources, which that was probably kind of dumb. But it's going to go back and it's actually going to make a 1-pager. We'll come back and look at that. But let's go back to my stuff. If you look here, what is something cool? If you're into Shepherd parking regulations, that's a good one. The UK study abroad. I think I have some stuff on there. If you're interested in this, by the way, it is something that I'm doing. Please reach out to me. I'll send out the information. But as you see, here's a video I made related to the study abroad. That's it, downloaded it, and we'll go ahead and hit it.
You ever see those amazing photos from a study abroad trip and wonder, how in the world do they pull that off? You know, behind the cool schedules and the incredible pictures, there's this whole machine of logistics, safety, and finance that has to work perfectly. Well, today we're going to pull back that curtain. We're looking at a real proposal to see how a modern educational adventure gets built. From that very first tour idea all
that's just from from the proposal idea, the document that I had submitted and posted on here. And it's all about the trip. It just summarizes it. And it is something you can share with your students. I'm starting to see these posted on YouTube and people trying to pass them off as their own. I have used these. I've used them in other classes, but I always make sure I give the shout out because I think they're getting so familiar. I just want people to know. As a time saver for an educator though, man, it's great if you have to try to read a document and you don't know if you have the time, you can load it up and listen to the podcast or watch the video. I'm not saying you should always do that, but it is a nice summation of getting information. So anyway, that is Google Notebook, not one book. As you can look, let's jump back here. I'm going to see something. That's still generating. I accidentally left that one on there, which I could kick myself for, but that's okay. That is what you're going to do this week. So what I'm going to have you do, if you're doing the Google Notebook, you're going to do either one audio or video. You can do both. That's fine if you want to submit those as your two, but I want 2 things out of all of these submitted. I would really love to see the audio or the video. If you want to do both and submit both, that's fine. Those can be your 2, but 2 things from this. You can kind of play around with it. But again, load the document. Click on one of these things. This will give you the podcast. This will give you the video. That gives you a mind map. This gives you different reports. I think the ones that I use the most are these 3. I usually get a briefing guide. I usually make a video overview on some things. And I do like the podcast D type option. I have not messed around with the quiz yet. And here's the problem with this. I don't know if anyone ever did History Bowl. There's thousands of questions on there. So I'm not going to sit there and wait on that and make you listen to me babble, but you can generate a quiz from all that too. So let's go back. Actually, I'm going to be nosy. Let me see if I can actually make a quiz really quick. Let's see if we can make a quiz and just see what it does. I've actually never used it. So let's see what the quiz looks like. And I'm going to take a drink. And of course, needless to say, you're going to also do the accompanying discussion post and the blog with this too. So that should be it for the week. Again, if you want to do Edpuzzle instead of this, feel free. Maybe you've worked with Edpuzzle and you just want to build on some stuff. That's fine. I don't want to poo-poo Edpuzzle. I just think my experience with this class is this is going to be more useful and it'll translate a little better online. So but as the quiz is going on there, I may actually post it. I won't make you sit here and listen to me babble. Oh, there it is. As you can see, it made a 10-question quiz, and usually you can kind of fix them, but it's got a lot of tools for teachers that I think if you played around with it would be really helpful. Like I say, the reports are nice. So with all that being said, I've kind of babbled enough. I'll keep the Edpuzzle up. I'll probably condense all this a little bit. I haven't quite released this week yet. I probably won't have it fully ready until Saturday evening. So I'll make sure to put all the Edpuzzles in there if it is something you want to do. And I will leave the assignment up as an option. But if you do the Edpuzzle, you need to make sure you pick a video and you need to load it up. And you need to crop it to about 5 minutes and then do 5 questions in it. It can be or notes or something like that. There is a video breakdown on how to do it. I'm not going to do it in this video because I'm really trying to like nudge you towards doing the Google Notebook if you would do it. Just like I say, I think it really will help you all out in the field and just kind of with preparation and all. So enough of me making weird faces, enough of me babbling. That is the week. Again, what it's going to be Edpuzzle, discussion 5, blog 5 on whatever tech you use. Pretty straightforward week. Awesome job. I'll try to get the grading done. Thanks for all the patience. I've been, like I say, I think at the beginning I said I'd do a week and try to be as soon as the last day. So if everything's due on a Sunday, I try to have that week within a week. Most of the time I'm pretty good. I'm not saying I don't fall behind. Right now we'll be in the middle of observations and stuff. So I'm sure I'll get backed up and also thank you for the patience. That's it. Again, I've said bye like 6 times. So have a great week. I hope everyone is having a good semester. I'm going to stop sharing and just give you the quick wave and have a good weekend and see you around. Bye.